An inside look live at Dunning Field, home of the New Canaan Rams. And it's Rams versus the Blue Wave. New Canaan girls lacrosse up against the Darien girls. And it's going to be a good one. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Caitlin Kelly. And we have a good one between two of the top teams in the country. And the Rams, obviously, of course, started off with the preseason #1 ranking in the entire country for public schools. Darien was not far behind. Whenever these two teams meet, it's always bound to be a good matchup. Last year, they met 3 times, once during the regular season, which went to double overtime, ended in a tie. And then in the FCIAC and state championship, New Canaan came out on top. Darien back for revenge. 1 loss on the year to St. Anthony's. Caitlin, what can you tell me about the Blue Wave this year?
Yeah, Darien's had a great start to the season, and they've been really good on their offense and defensive side. They've been really good at protecting Bambina, who's a first-time starter for varsity this year after coming behind Shootout and Canela last year. But on Monday this week, they had one of their star players, Annabelle Adams, captain, tear her ACL in practice. So they've definitely been having to learn how to play without her. And Callie Kaminsky, who's one of their top players for the draw and has been a really important aspect on their offense this season, has also been out the last week with the flu, but she did practice yesterday, so they're hoping she can play today. But they are coming off of 2 wins this week of West Hill 7-11 and Wilton 14-4, so they've had a great momentum the whole season, and they're going to have to learn how to play without Adams, and hopefully Kaminsky's back today.
Yeah, you talk about an offensive scheme change-up. New Canaan had one of their own this year, beginning of the year, before the season even started. Maddie Tully, the senior, committed to play Division I at Cornell next fall. Unfortunately suffered a torn ACL as well. 2 heartbreaking injuries for both of these teams, not to mention the fact that New Canaan, coming into this year, 8 new starters on the team, a very young team after losing Devin Russell and Lexi Tully last year. Both graduated. Devin Russell, you might see her on a couple highlight tapes at Boston College right now. She just played in the ACC championship, as well as Shane Jolche for the Blue Wave. And so both these programs known to produce some of the best talent in the country. There's a lot of commitments. Darien has 18 players committed to play at the next level, including Annabelle Adams, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see the way both of these teams come out. You mentioned Darien, their offense, the scheme has changed up a little bit. And Caitlin, what can you tell me about that scheme? Of course, losing that point guard, the leading goal scorer in Annabelle Adams, not an easy feat for any team to recover from. But how does this Darien team look a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, they've had new members on the offensive side and defensive side, and new opportunities for multiple players on the team, including the goalie Bambina, who's really stepped up in important games this season and been a really big aspect for the team. But it's with Adams out, they're going to have to rely on players like Von Kennel and Gromelski to even more step up than they already do and try to keep up that momentum and score. Walsh, who's committed to Colgate, is going to have to step up as well and help out her teammates.
And talking about goalies, New Canaan has one of the best goalies in the country, CC Patterson, a household name, 3-sport varsity athlete, has played on this team for 4 years. She was an All-American last year, varsity starter, of course, a 5-star, one of the top recruits, arguably the top goalie in the class of 2025. New Canaan's defense definitely backed by someone like Patterson, so strong in net. Of course, they did lose a bunch of defensive pieces, including Temma Wagner, Catherine Norton, and Izzy Apelt last year. But so far, it's definitely been an interesting season for New Canaan. You know, a lot of learning with 8 new starters, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, kind of figuring out how they can score goals without their leading goal scorer, Maddie Tully, or leading returning goal scorer, I should say. And it's all fallen really on Emma Rowe and Sydney Patton. Rowe leads the team with 24 goals. Patton just 1 behind with 23. So really the 2 girls you're going to look out for the New Canaan offense. And it's going to be a good one here, Caitlin. Between these 2 teams, it's always a good matchup. Rams, Blue Wave, a household rivalry in the state of Connecticut, ready to renew in just a few moments here on NCTV after the starting lineups and the national anthem. We'll see you in just a few short minutes.
Dunning Field at Hawes Plaza, home of the 2024 FCIAC and CIAC Class LL state champions, the New Canaan Rams, and their head coach, Kristen Woods. The Rams welcome the players, coaches, and fans of Darien High School and their head coach, Lisa Lindley. The Blue Wave enter today's contest ranked #1 in the state with an overall record of 9-1, while New Canaan is ranked 2nd with 6 wins and 3 losses on the season. Both teams are undefeated in conference play. On behalf of the CIAC and New Canaan High School, we would like to remind you to demonstrate good sportsmanship, respect, and courtesy to all student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans. Support the team you root for and show respect for the opposition. Any behavior that violates this code of conduct is grounds for removal from the stadium. We appreciate your cooperation in maintaining a safe and positive game environment. Now, here are today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Darien Blue Wave. Number 1, Juliana Bambina. Number 2, Anna Von Kennel. Number 7, Callie Comiskey. Number 9, Captain Hope Hapgood. Number 12, Summer Lenday. Number 13, Lyle Brown. Number 15, Katie Walsh. Number 16, Isabel Alini. Number 17, Cameron Pacorni. Number 18, Quinn Kennedy. Number 26, Adriana Gromelski. And number 85, Sophie Haas. And now, the starters for your New Canaan Rams. Number 2, Captain Sydney Patton. Number 4, Captain Addie Crowley. Number 5, Phoebe Shue. Number 11, Ashton Pinkernell. Number 14, Ann Gilliam. Number 15, Emma Jimsky. Number 16, Ali Cicia. Number 17, Larkin Celebrity. Number 25, Madison Civarelli. Number 26, Lulu Valenti. Number 27, Emma Rowe. And number 38, Captain Cece Patterson. Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask that you please rise and remove your hats to honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
An inside look at Dunning Field, home of the New Canaan Rams. Welcome, and if you're just joining us here on NCTV 78 and DAF Media, you haven't missed anything. First draw just moments away. New Canaan and Darien, a household rivalry in the state of Connecticut, especially when it comes to lacrosse. These games always close, and you know what they say in rivalry matchups, Caitlin, throw out the records, throw out really anything coming into the game. It's all about the performance here today, and you know, we were just talking a moment ago, and the draw situation for both of these teams, definitely an interesting situation. We'll see who comes out for the Blue Wave. Looks like it's going to be Cameron Picorni. You did mention that Kaminsky has taken a lot of draws this season.
Yeah, she's been their main draw this season, and then Picorni and Gromelski have come in more on into the game in the second half and helped her out as well. But like we just talked about at the beginning of the game, Kaminsky has been sick, so I'm sure she will be in this game probably later on. But Picorni's really stepped up in her absence in the last game and has a really strong draw this year. And I know it's really important for Darien to come out strong on the draw, not just in this game, but in every game. But it's definitely important in this game versus New Canaan. When last year when they met in the FCAC finals, Darien lost every single draw except for one when they played New Canaan. So having that momentum coming in and getting the draw and winning it and getting that momentum and building it up right from the start is really important for them.
For the Rams, it'll be number 11, Ashton Pinkernell, committed to Colgate to play at the next level. And the Rams definitely had a performance earlier this year in the draw circle that they didn't really succeed in against Nyack. They lost 20 out of 24 draws, but since then they've definitely gotten much better, and they're excited. We're live on NCTV, DAF Media. Rivalry reignited. Picorni, Pinkernell, first draw. Darien comes away with it right to the stick of Von Kennel. The Florida commit. She's going to settle down the Darien offense, and it's going to be imperative for both of these teams to get a lot of action in front of the net. Both these defenses extremely strong. Look for cutters. Move the ball. The ball's now in the stick of Walsh. Walsh feeds it to Kaminsky. Kaminsky then dumps it off to Hapgood. Hapgood moving it back down low to X. It'll be Height moving the ball around. This Blue Wave offense feeling out this New Canaan team that, of course, we mentioned looks much different this year. This New Canaan team, 8 different starters than last year. So both these teams, the first part of this game is going to be feeling each other's defenses out, really getting settled in, especially for Darien, although the bus ride isn't long. They did have to take a bus to get here.
Yeah, Darien does a great job at starting off the games and even into the games of collecting themselves and getting great ball movement and passing it between one another and making sure they are getting it the ball from every direction and then really throwing off the defense before they're able to take their shot.
Von Kennel, the point guard of this offense, moving around back down low to X, circling around the crease, looking, she slips. Ball comes out, we'll see. There will be a penalty. They'll give Von Kennel an 8-meter mark. These 8-meter marks so important. You need to convert on opportunities that are given to you. Von Kennel, a good opportunity, nice little angle where she's going to try to cut around the middle. She takes the shot, saved by Patterson. Patterson, big early saves, dumps it off to Patton. Now Patton on the clear, getting past the 50, moving into the offensive zone. Patton, 23 goals on the season, second on the team, was up there last year too as well. Patton had 30 goals last season and 23 assists, which led the team. More of a distributor now asked to score. She feeds it off to Rowe. Back over to Patton. Patton feeling out this Darien defense, moving it around.
Yeah, and it's great for New Canaan to go in. Darien has liked to play this season an up-high defense and tried to really bring them off towards the 30-40 line mark and try to not get close to Bambina. So it's great. New Canaan going in when they can is really great.
It'll be interesting. Patton able to break her defender's ankles. She's moving around looking for the inside pass. Early turnover from the Rams. Patton, a little bit of miscommunication. Looked like she's looking for Rowe. And Rowe elected to cut inside, not on the same page. Now ball in the stick of Bambina. Bambina, the Elon commit. You mentioned she didn't play last year, Caitlin, because of Darien's depth at goaltending.
Yeah, but she's really stepped up this season, and especially in games like Manhasset where they were behind in the first half and they were able to come back and win by such a lot in the second half. She's really stepped up and helped out her team as much as she can.
Gromelsky dumps the ball back down low to X. Gromelsky, a two-way star. Star on the hockey team, translating over to Lacrosse. A shot wide right from Walsh.
And the field hockey team too. Gromelsky's a three-sport varsity athlete at Darien.
And the athleticism between both of these teams just so impressive. A lot of multi-sport athletes. Patterson, we mentioned, plays 3 sports. Patton, star on the soccer team. Rowe as well. Cecilia, star on the basketball team. A lot of different multi-sport athletes. They all come together to play lacrosse, and that's one thing that makes this team unique. As Darien on the board first.
Great shot.
Katie Walsh puts it past the stick of Patterson. You see the celebration. A good early goal, good start for the Blue Wave, up 1-0. Just 3 minutes and change in. You see the hug from Kaminsky. And a big goal for the Blue Wave.
Yeah, we were saying earlier with Adams being out, players like Walsh really had to step up and take that any opportunity that they can in this game. So it's so important for Walsh to have come out early and really assert her dominance, I guess, on offense for Darien without Adams. And she's had great success on this season being able to find the spots in the circle to shoot.
And our apologies for any technical difficulties you might see on the stream. We're all students here with, of course, the advisors, Damian Andrew and Roman Cebulski. Both oversee the entire production, but we have Maddie producing for the first time, so you might see a few technical difficulties, but we're going to give you the best quality stream we can. Second draw of the day. Darien won the first one. Picorni wins the second one. Darien back into the offensive zone just moments ago. Was Katie Walsh putting the Blue Wave on top. 1-0. Tons of game time left just early in this first quarter. A beautiful day out too as well. 70 degrees, sunny. A little bit of wind, but perfect conditions for some lacrosse. Picorni up top looking to make a dodge. Instead dumps it off to Von Kennel. Back down low to X is Height. Height cradling with her left hand, feeds it to Picorni.
Yeah, and just like earlier, Darien's doing a great job with their ball movement. They like to almost have every player touch the ball around the circle and to really get it around to be able to shoot.
There's a little bit of contact. See where she was when the contact hit her, I believe. Will be an 8-meter mark for the Blue Wave. Gromelsky up top. This is prime position. Straight away. Good check in front. And another whistle is blown. Shooting space violation. Gromelsky with another opportunity.
Yeah, she's done well in the free positions this year, so giving her this opportunity is really big.
Gromelsky up top. She takes the shot. Looked like she got checked from behind. Ball out of bounds. Darien retains possession on the rebound. Ball back up top to Gromelsky. A good job on defense by the Rams, able to get some confusion. Patterson was out, loses control of the ball. Oh, she just made a save. What a save from Patterson out front. She lost control of the ball, picked up by the Blue Wave, and then makes a point-blank save. See, she's got the bench into it. Both benches so important, too, as well, from an energy standpoint. I think we've seen early on, too, as well. Neither team really has a solidified star that's going to score most of the goals. It's going to be all about the ball movement, the cutters, really inclusive offense for both of these teams.
Yeah, Darien's had a really high energy all week looking forward to this game. I know a bunch of the girls were referring to it as Ram Week because they were just so excited and could not wait to get to this game today.
Yeah, you see it, the boys will play Saturday. I know there's some tennis being played right now. Usually, it is a whole week of New Canaan versus Darien, all sports competitive too as well. None of the games are blowouts. So lucky to be able to have all those games streamed. See a little bit of checking in front. It's Crowley who picks it up, the USC commit. Mostly plays defense, but now spending some time in the midfield. Rowe dodges up top, dumps it to Patton. Patton on her right side. Good defense pushing Patton away. Ball fed to Rowe. Dumps it off to Celebrity. Pinkernell switching hands, pass in front to Cecilia. Good save by Bambina. Darien gets possession back of the ball. Good early save from Bambina. Good job from New Canaan looking for cutters in front.
Yeah, and it was great defense backing up as well. Darien has played a really aggressive defense this whole season, and it's definitely led to them giving over the ball or having free positions for open shots on Bambina, and they've definitely learned when to be too aggressive and when not to be. So it was good early on seeing the slight aggressive, but not too much.
Yeah, and it's interesting too as well, losing Adams on Monday, still very fresh in the minds of these players. Losing a player like that, a star. I know after New Canaan lost Tully, you know, everyone was kind of quiet for a couple of days, really just shocked from losing a player of that caliber. Adams, one of the stars on this Darien team, committed to UVA, a senior. Unfortunate losing the rest of her senior season as well, another aspect. But they will, of course, have Adams on the sideline, rooting on her teammates, still acting almost as a secondary coach, helping her teammates out, just so tough. You know, she wants to be out there on the field. Same goes with Maddie Tully.
Yeah, and I know it made the team a little hesitant seeing how easily it was for her to tear her ACL at practice, but I mean, she's been doing great, and the team's back to being where they can be.
Vaughn Kennel had the ball checked out of her stick by Civarelli, the sophomore. Good defensive play from Civarelli. Good check, checking ball free. And New Canaan now trying to clear. You see Patton in the midfield, moving around, aggressive defense, swarmed by multiple Blue Wave jerseys, and it'll be interesting defensively what the Blue Wave tried to do, whether they double team Patton or Rowe, try to take away one of the Rams' primary scoring options. Same goes for New Canaan too as well, if they're going to stay in man, move to zone. Definitely a lot of coaching adjustments too as well that'll be made throughout this game, because both teams definitely look different than prior to that, than the beginning of the year and even last year.
Yeah, and just like in that moment, Darien, even in games against Rye and stuff, they've definitely done a bunch of double teaming and even triple teaming and getting as many Darien players around the offensive players as they can of the other team. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue that up the whole game.
Yeah, and we haven't talked much about schedules. We'll talk about it after this 8-meter mark. An opportunity for Rowe to even up this game. 2:25 remaining in this first quarter. Rowe from the far side of the circle. She takes the shot. Bouncer bounces over Bambina's stick. And the Blue Wave will gain possession back. An opportunity squandered by the Blue Wave. Both of these teams, you know, you mentioned, you know, we're approaching that midseason mark. Von Kennel carrying the ball into the offensive zone. We're approaching that midseason mark, and these teams really haven't played a lot of conference teams. You know, the combined record of these teams is 3-0 against the conference. A lot of out-of-state teams. Darien's one loss came to St. Anthony's, a private school who New Canaan plays on Saturday. And a lot of out-of-state and even just teams that are pillars in the Northeast in terms of girls lacrosse, as the shot goes wide of Patterson. But an interesting schedule makeup, and these teams always play a lot of tough out-of-state opponents.
Yeah, Darien's played a couple of New York teams this year, and I know when they played against Rye, they had to get used to that shot clock and the different elements of playing different states and different teams.
Yeah, and you saw that on New Canaan Athletics when New Canaan played Rye from New York, where that shot clock was so different. Rye playing at a much quicker pace than the Rams in Connecticut. Without that shot clock, both of these offenses really can wait for the good shot, as Von Kennel was looking for Walsh inside. Walsh with the good cut. Von Kennel just couldn't connect the dots on the pass. Turnover, Blue Wave, ball back to New Canaan. Hapgood guarding Patton. Patton able to slide past Hapgood, then met by Glenday.
Yeah, great speed, taking it all the way down the side.
Patton to Rowe. See matchups being figured out. Dumps it to Cecilia, who switches hands a few times. Cradles back to her left and dumps it off. And back up top to Rowe. Rowe working inside, dumps it down low to Celebrity at X. We'll see a violation here. And that will do it here for the first quarter on DAF and NCTV 78. Darien up 1-0. Both these teams trying to find some offense. Very defensive first quarter. And Caitlin, what are some main takeaways from both of these teams? We'll start with Darien. Definitely got ahead early in a road game. Very important. Won the first 2 draws. But really since that goal, they've been on trying to figure out how they can put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, it was so important for Darien to come out and get the 2 draws right away and to feel that momentum, especially coming off of the season last season, as we know, of them not being able to get as many draws or winning them as earlier. But for them to come out with that momentum and to go into it and having players like Walsh score early and show that they don't necessarily need Adams and that they can still produce goals on their own was so important for almost their confidence. And I think they just need to connect more on their passes and really use the speed and use the ball movement that they have.
Yeah, and here you see the Walsh goal able to slip past her defender, aiming for that non-stick side of Patterson. Puts it right past Patterson. Nothing she could do about it. Great focus, great aim on the shot. That would put Darien up 1-0. Then on the other side, New Canaan, of course, held to 0 goals in the first quarter. Not a lot of offense cooking for Rowe Patton in the entire New Canaan offense, right, Caitlin?
Yeah, Darien did a good job at double teaming and triple teaming when they could and to try to block her off when they could. Like we were talking about earlier, if Darien likes to play a high defense if they can, so New Canaan needs to slip through the spots that they're leaving open and to find them. They have those key players like Patton who really has the speed to go it all the way down and to bring it in. So they've had opportunities, and I think definitely as the game goes on, there will be more opportunities with open space for New Canaan to dodge in and to feed.
Yeah, we'll see you back here in just a few seconds for the second quarter of action live on DAF Media and NCTV. We'll see you in a minute. Back here for the opening draw of this second quarter between the New Canaan Rams, the Darien Blue Wave squaring off at Dunning Field. Paws Plaza, exciting matchup. Myself, John Freitas, joined alongside Caitlin Kelly. We'll see in for the draw Emma Rowe and Cameron Picorni.
Yeah, she's done great so far and had really success in the last 2 draws, so hopefully she can keep up that momentum.
Second quarter of action ready to tip off. Always highly anticipated matchup between the two teams. New Canaan scoreless in that first quarter. Darien, that 1 goal from the stick of Katie Walsh. Draw 1, possession picked up by the Blue Wave. You see fans getting passionate with the referee about the call. They're going to call it over and back. Possession back to New Canaan. New Canaan moving in transition off the stick of Celebrity. Picked up by Brown. And Darien now gaining possession on the clear. You see the long stretch pass, and for both these offenses, you can't try to complete those long stretch passes. You have to kind of start with those closer passes, move the ball around. You can't be too aggressive here in the second quarter, but I think this next goal is going to be very important for either team. It'll either put the Blue Wave up by 2, of course, a multi-goal lead, or it'll bring New Canaan back to even with the Blue Wave.
And you saw once the ball turned over and they were able to take it all the way down, Darien really slowed down their pace and tried to slow the whole pace down with slower passes and slower connections, and they're going to try to probably speed it up sooner to wake up New Canaan's defense.
Von Kennel on the drive, her shot wide, good pass inside, big save by Patterson on the shot from Hapgood. Looks like the ball went off the leg of Patterson. Patterson so strong in net, so much experience too as well, especially against the Blue Wave, winning all 3 matchups or 2 out of 3 matchups. That first matchup ended up in a tie because in Connecticut high school lacrosse you can't play more than 2 overtimes. They played both. Both coaches wanted to play a third. The referee said it was not allowed, so definitely strong feelings, and it'll be interesting always in a rivalry like this. Both teams want to win so badly. There's a drive inside by Kaminsky, ball poked free. Good aggressive defense, and these referees will let that extra physicality play in a rivalry match like this.
Yeah, definitely. With emotions running high and an already aggressive defense that they both play, it's definitely going to become even more aggressive and try to stop it no matter what.
Patton double on the clear, feeds it off to Shu. And Walsh aggressive defense pokes it away from Shu, but picked right back up by Crowley, the USC commit. And dumps it off to her teammate. The Rams swarmed from sticks. Time and time again, it was Anna Moore that time. Patton, one of the point guards of this offense, guarded up top. You see forcing her to the outside on that left side. Both these girls more dominant with the right hand, but of course both can use the left hand. You see double team on Rowe. Darien in a zone now. Looks like 2-3-2.
Yeah, and great ball movement from New Canaan, getting it around and using their moves.
See, though, this New Canaan offense definitely compressed right now, needing to spread out, get a few cutters. You haven't seen anyone cut in front as Celebrity goes across the face of Bambina. And here is Patton. Patton double team, takes a shot. Rebound goes to Pinkernell, who retains possession for the Rams. But even a shot like that, Bambina, although she might not have the experience for the Blue Wave, has a lot of experience playing travel lacrosse, playing for some of the top programs in the Northeast, like a lot of these girls.
Yeah, Bambina's definitely already proven herself throughout this season and been a real step up for Darien and have really backed them up when they needed it. So even though she's proven herself already, I think this is a big game where she really does want to prove herself and be the brick wall almost in the goal that Darien needs.
Talk about goalies. Darien, the first name that comes to mind, Ella Lonergan, who played for the ice hockey team, suffered 3 years of injury, then senior season comes in and leads her team to an FCIAC and state championship. You know, we called a couple hockey games together, Caitlin, and what an impressive team for both of these schools. Darien, of course, walking away with a lot of hardware, but New Canaan just as good, finishing 1 and 2 in the final state poll. We were treated to a lot of good hockey between the two teams, and there are a couple girls on both these teams that play hockey. Of course, as we mentioned, Maddie Tully and Gromelski.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've definitely proven themselves that both Lonergan and Bambina, even if with the less experience that they've had on varsity, they've come in when they needed, and they've been really important aspects to their team.
See you over to Rowe. Rowe took a little bit too much on the step, almost tripped. And she'll be given a 12-meter mark. See Patton being vocal with this offense, on the offense to spread out.
Yeah, and opposite side of that, Quinn Kennedy was definitely there right on the defense, trying to line them all up.
Back down low to Exia, working around Pinkernell, my apologies. Pinkernell back down low to Celebrity. Celebrity moving to her right, then to her left. Celebrity to Pinkernell. Pinkernell way up top. You mentioned this Darien defense playing high against Rye. You know, one of the coaching adjustments definitely was to continue to play a bit higher as Patton looking for the top right corner. Ball checked free and sails high.
Yeah, it was good hits going into it from Kennedy up, trying to push her back up high. And like you were just saying, like Darien loves to try to go as high as they can and to really protect their goalie back.
Good dodge from Zacia. Good little one step, then step inside. Rowe still up top. You see the double team. Rowe and Patton, the two team leaders, 1 and 2 in goals. Rowe with 24, Patton with 23. Patton working around. Rowe had 7 goals in that game against Rise. She was unstoppable. So you definitely can't let either one of them get hot because they will make you pay, but a very defensive first half from both of these teams. Still 1-0 Blue Wave on top, 5:20 remaining in this first half. Good defensive play, then dumped off to Bambina.
Yeah, opposite of that, obviously Adams was one of the top goal scorers for Darien, but in games like Manhasset, we really saw Kaminsky and Hapgood come out on top, even too, both of them getting hat tricks and double hat tricks in that game and really showing up for their Darien defense.
Saw Civarelli poke the ball free on the pass attempt from Bambina to her teammate. And so now New Canaan back in the offensive zone. Very patient, moving the ball around. Patton, good workout. Then open shot for Rowe,
Great
blocked
save.
and saved by Bambina.
Yeah, moments like those, you don't want the offense to shoot right on her and have that opportunity, but Bambina really stood strong.
And that was probably the Rams' best opportunity of the day. When it comes to looking at the net, you see the replay, the dump off by Celebrity to Patton. Patton working around, finds Rowe. We'll see. He's up top for a little bit, then finds Rowe. Beautiful shot by Rowe. Just can't shoot it right at Bambina.
Yeah.
Bambina really not having to move on the save.
Yeah, and like we were talking about going into the second quarter of having that free space that Darien tends to open up more when you have so much pressure on their defense. They will give you those openings to go in and shoot right on Bambina, and that was one of those moments where New Canaan was able to capitalize on the free space.
Blue Wave offense moving the ball around to the stick of Walsh, the only goal scorer. See them moving, spreading out this New Canaan defense.
Yeah, going back to that slower pace when they can. They try to speed it up, slow it down, and just keep the pace consistent and moving and constantly changing when they can.
Von Kennel feeds it to Walsh, who then feeds it over to Grumelski. Grumelski switches hands to her right. Feeds it to Pokorny. And there will be an 8-meter mark for Grumelski. Grumelski on the near side this time, and she's trying to shoot opposite stick side of Patterson. She's going to have to shoot to the right. Elects to just take it out.
Yeah, unlike being unsuccessful earlier in this game, she really does have a strong shot, and when she has that one-on-one with the goalie, she's been able to capitalize on in multiple opportunities throughout this whole season.
2:45 remaining. Blue Wave in the offensive zone. Definitely a slower pace second quarter for both of these teams. Long possessions. And the big save by
Great
Patterson.
save.
Shot from the stick of Hapgood once again. Patterson denying Hapgood for the 3rd time today.
Yeah, and it's so important for Darien to have slowed down that pace because especially playing in rival games when your emotions are high, having a game be feel so fast and be constantly moving and almost being in a panic the entire game is obviously not beneficial to either team. So having that collectedness and making it slow down the pace is going to really help both teams out.
And this game, right, always circled on the calendar between the two teams, always so highly ranked the preseason and normally at the end of the season ranked just as highly. And this game always circled as one that you want to win. And New Canaan's schedule, we mentioned earlier, they play St. Anthony's on Saturday as Pinkernell's tripped. They play St. Anthony's Saturday, then Wilton on Tuesday. Darien schedule too, just as difficult. They play Summit, then Sacred Heart Greenwich, who is very, very strong. As Darien turns over New Canaan back on the clear.
Yeah, and Darien had played St. Anthony's really early on in their season. They were still learning each other and learning how to protect Bambino when they can.
Darien settling things down, minute 20 remaining. An opportunity to put one in the back of the net, go up by 2 in halftime. Big momentum boost for the Blue Wave if they can do it. Walsh dumps it off down low to X. That is Hapgood. Hapgood working around the cage far side.
Yeah, Hapgood has a great sense of the field, and she's really able to see the space when she can to feed it in and to connect the passes.
Under a minute remaining. Back down low at X. And fed off to Von Kennel. Von Kennel up top takes a shot. Saved by Patterson. Von Kennel had a cutter, elected to shoot it. Blue Wave retained possession, now under 40 seconds remain.
Yeah, this is where Darien's going to try to speed it up and get right in front of Patterson if they can.
Up top is Kaminsky. Kaminsky, we haven't called her name much. Feeds it to Pokorny. Pokorny doubled, somehow retains possession up top with a nice couple cradles, sequence of cradles. Walsh inside, she takes the shot and scores. Katie Walsh putting on a clinic, 2-0 Blue Wave.
Yeah, she definitely stepped up in the absence of Adams, and she was able to find that free space and to dodge it and go right in, and great move to get it in.
We'll see here on the replay, Katie Walsh just working around her defender. The Blue Wave patient, then striking like a snake inside. Just beautiful shot, perfect placement, top right corner. The opposite stick side of Patterson, putting the Blue Wave up 2-0, 14.2 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and definitely we were saying right into that. Darien tries to find that space right in front of Patterson, especially with less than a minute left in the game in the second quarter, to get ahead and to get that straight on shot. And Walsh was able to get it from the top and bring it in and get right on.
And both of these defense doing a really good job of keeping the opposing team's offense towards the outside of the field. Walsh able to snake her way inside, put the ball right past Patterson. Nothing Patterson could do. The draw control ball up in the air. Pokorny comes away with it. Now Pokorny in transition, looking for maybe something. Takes the shot from the outside, saved by Patterson. That'll do it for the first half. Blue Wave up 2-0 on top of the Rams, making for a very exciting second half to come. Live on NCTV, DAF Media Network. DAF Media is a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation, brought to you with support from Terry and Nancy McGraw. We'll see you back here on NCTV and DAF Media in just a few moments for the second half of action. For that,
following this game, the New Canaan Rams boys lacrosse team will take on Iona Prep in a non-conference matchup. Opening face-off is at 6:30, and we hope you all will join us for that game.
This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Quest Builders Group, a general contracting, construction management, and consulting company who proudly supports all of our high school athletes. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Dr. William Fessler of Fessler Family Dentistry, the dental office for your entire family's dental needs. At William Fessler Family Dentistry, smile. You're in good hands. We thank Platinum sponsor Frangione Engineering. Planning on putting in a pool or an addition onto your house? Are you having drainage issues on your property? Frangione Engineering can help you find a solution. Platinum sponsors and NCHS alumni Leo and Steve Carl of Carl Chevrolet, who have been proud supporters of local athletic programs for generations. Their dealership has been serving Fairfield County since 1927. Their team is ready to assist with all of your automotive needs. We thank Platinum sponsor Manfredi Jewels. Manfredi Jewels, your local official Rolex jeweler, is excited to continue carrying the finest jewelry and watch brands and welcome the New Canaan community into their newly renovated store this fall. Go Rams! Platinum sponsor Renaissance Partners, a family-owned and New Canaan-based residential building and remodeling company serving all of Fairfield County. We thank Platinum sponsor Walter Stewart's. Walter Stewart's Market has supported NC Rams athletics and the entire New Canaan community for years. Walter Stewart's is your fresh local market. We also thank our platinum sponsor, Hoyt Livery, for 30 plus years of service. We would like to thank our gold sponsor, Anderson Kenny Architecture, a full-service practice that encompasses a range of commissioned residential and commercial projects. Each project is a thoughtful collaboration tailored for clients and their needs. The outcome is highly personal, constructed with intention and integrity. We thank another gold sponsor, Club Sandwich, a family-owned deli right here in town serving the New Canaan community since 1986. They are a proud sponsor of the New Canaan community and all of our sports teams. And we thank NC Graphics LLC, a gold sponsor who is a constant supporter of the NCHS Booster Club. They are a custom graphics company located right here in New Canaan for all of your logo designing needs. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. Go Rams!
The second half of action live on DAF Media, NCTV, New Canaan and Darien. The Blue Wave up 2-0 on top of the Rams. And Caitlin, it's definitely been more of a defensive half, or first half, between the two teams. Patterson with a bunch of good saves, Bambino with a few saves. But it's Katie Walsh who was able to get it past Patterson twice, putting the Blue Wave up 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really back and forth, and both defenses have done a great job at trying to keep them up and trying to keep them away from their goalies. But in the opportunities where they have been near the goalies, both goalies have pulled through to really show strong and to stop the goals.
For New Canaan, a new girl in the draw circle on that most recent draw. We haven't seen too many today, but it was Schlafman, the freshman. And here comes Rowe working down the middle. Bit of contact, a bit excessive. So they will call it will be a free position, not inside either of the boxes. Rowe up top. We'll see this New Canaan offense spreading out. And Caitlin, if you're New Canaan's offense, how do you find a way past this Darien defense in this second half?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it is one of those situations where you just have to find the open space when you can, and definitely have to be resilient and not let Darien's double teaming, triple teaming, as we've talked about, get to you. And they definitely play an aggressive defense and try to push you out and push you up high and away from the circle, so you just have to find your space through it.
And I think that was an adjustment we saw towards the end of the second half, right, Caitlin, is we saw that Darien defense push Patton as well as Rowe up top very high,
Totally.
near that 30-yard line, because it is a football field. But the Darien defense able to force a turnover. Now just have to get it up clear past out of their own end. But an adjustment we saw, and it'll be interesting to see the coaching adjustments we see coming into this second half as Darien turns the ball over, an unforced error, very uncommon for this Blue Wave team.
Yeah, and with those unforced errors, they really have to try to stay collected and really continue to keep their passes when they can connected and everything we saw. And Darien had a moment in one of the Manhasset, I think it was the third quarter, just like now, and where they really just could not connect on their passes, couldn't connect on getting it on shot, and it was going, all of their shots were going over, and they had to take that step back to recollect themselves, and then they were able to come back stronger. So Darien has to make sure that they're not becoming panicked and to continue to keep each other connected.
Glenday batted the ball down on the Cecilia pass. Darien back in the offensive zone. I mentioned they did score nearing the end of the first half, really, with about 14 seconds left. Walsh scored, working away inside. So definitely have a lot of momentum, but that New Canaan bench, very young and very vocal, providing some support. Good shot, working away inside is Davenport. Davenport, bounce shot, puts it right past Patterson. The Blue Wave up 3-0.
Yeah, so important. Davenport has been a great offensive strategy for Darien. She's been great in the second halves of these games coming in, as you know, some players have started to get tired after playing the full half, and she's been a great asset to the team on a goals like that.
Davenport, beautiful drive inside the Villanova commit. You saw her work her way around the crease, take an inside step. We'll see if we can get a replay here of that goal. And my apologies, the replay did happen. I was looking at the celebration. Big goal for the Blue Wave, continuing right where they left off.
Yeah, they just have to keep that momentum up as soon as they can. Darien has played some teams this year where endurance really becomes part of their strategy in the second half. So obviously New Canaan is a team that they're going to keep up their endurance just as well as Darien can. So they're going to have to find other ways to get around the defense.
Picorni and Schlafman inside the draw circle. Picorni wins another one. We haven't seen anyone but Picorni inside the draw circle for the Blue Wave here today. And she was also really good last year when Darien was struggling in the draw circle. You know, Coach Risa Windley able to kind of utilize her ability inside the draw circle. Very strong, very experienced, and comes from a long bloodline of lacrosse. Brady, of course, making headlines at Notre Dame.
Yeah, and Darien likes to stay consistent, and if it's working, then why change it? And we've seen that with Kaminsky doing a lot of the draws earlier in the season, with Picorni coming in later on. And I mean, as long as Picorni's doing well in this game, I expect her to continue to keep up the draws for a little while.
Von Kennel feeds it to Walsh. Walsh, 2 goals on the day. Back down low to X. for the Blue Wave. Working it around was Davenport. Davenport to Von Kennel. Crowley tasked with the matchup of Von Kennel. And Crowley, one of the Rams' better defenders, the senior captain. She didn't play much last year because of the strength. And we did mention New Canaan lost a lot of pieces from that team last year that won the state and FCAC championship. They didn't lose the goalie. They only returned 3 starters. And Izzy Janiga even spent some time with her back injury out this year too.
Yeah, I think there was a worry with Darien with losing Sadie Stafford last year, and they really have taken a step up, everyone, and they've been pretty strong in their offense this year to try to continue to move off of the momentum from last season. So they have to just continue to keep that up this whole season.
The Blue Wave have found some offensive success here today, up 3-0. Davenport back to Von Kennel. Von Kennel, a really strong facilitator for the Blue Wave offense, working it inside. She takes a shot and scores. Von Kennel, a little sidearm action on that shot, putting it right through the legs of Patterson. The celebration, just waiting for a goal from Von Kennel. The Florida commit puts it right past Patterson. Blue Wave on top, 4-0.
Yeah, and she just had great positioning right at the top of that circle and getting it right between the legs like you were saying earlier. And Darien has really been able to get around Patterson.
Good kind of drive and a lot of space for Von Kennel to get the shot off, putting it right past Patterson. 4-0. Blue Wave on top. The Rams, if they're going to make a push, they need to start finding some offensive momentum right now. 7:27 remaining in this third period.
Yeah, definitely. What we've seen with Darien, too, is it doesn't matter how much they're up by. They will continue to keep up that momentum and continue to try to score when they can. So they're not going to let up and let New Canaan have that opportunity. So New Canaan's going to have to find a way around them.
Corney feeds it to Von Kennel. Von Kennel just moments ago did net the 4th goal for the Blue Wave. The Blue Wave settling right back into their offensive set. Very nice and patient, looking for cutters across the middle and just slowing things down.
Yeah, especially with a lead like this, having that slower pace is going to help them out.
Yeah, really no rush for this Blue Wave offense. Just continue with what has been working. It's Davenport. Davenport working around Civarelli. Up top is Walsh. Walsh takes a shot, scores! Hat trick for Walsh. Blue Wave up 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, Walsh especially has really stepped up in this game, and I know everyone was nervous with the loss of Adams, but, I mean, it hasn't been that noticeable with Walsh just stepping right in and filling those shoes and getting the shots off when she can.
See, very comfortable on the replay, just able to gain an extra step on her defender and then use that step in her shot where she took the shot, fires, and scores. Walsh with the hat trick, very, very comfortable with her position right now. You saw her just moments before the play actually calling out the offense, the set, telling everyone where she wanted her to be. And the Blue Wave raining it on right now, up 5-0.
Yeah, and she has a really strong shot, so when she's able to get those strong shots off from the top of the circle, not even having to go in even near or right in front of Patterson, it's a great ability that she has.
See Von Kennel guarded by Shu. She'll be given a free position towards the top. Rowe on the chase, just a few yards behind. It'll be interesting, Caitlin, if the Rams elect to double Katie Walsh. Walsh has been on fire today, and they have to stop the bleeding somehow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's definitely not going to let up, especially with the momentum she's now gained and the energy she has from getting those goals. And I wouldn't be surprised if New Canaan decides to extra team them or double team her and put some extra pressure on her.
Both these coaches, 2 of the best coaches in Connecticut girls lacrosse right now, and 2 of the better coaches of all time. I don't think that's a far-reaching statement. The success of both of these head coaches. I know Coach Wood's 19th season coaching multiple state championships, multiple FCAC championships, and both these coaches would have more championships if it wasn't for the other program.
Yeah.
Both of these teams just so strong and have been so strong for years.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see it from the sideline, the passion both coaches have in these games, and their want to win is probably just as much as the players when it comes to games like these.
Shot over the head of Patterson, far wide. We'll get a replay on that shot. It was Davenport who was just probably a step away from the ball. Crowley on the clear. Crowley working pass with her defender on her left hip.
Yeah, you could see the Darien defense kind of zoning in and all trying to go towards her before she got that quick pass off.
Very aggressive defense. Sia ends up on the ground. She'll be given a free position at about the 45-yard line, but you talk about it. Darien defense moving as a unit, definitely playing higher than they were in that first half.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to do what they can to kind of stop that New Canaan defense. And we talked about it multiple times in this game, but keeping it up high and keeping it away from Bambina is definitely Darien's goal usually. So keeping it up high and trying to push them towards the sidelines is great.
So Sia could not pick up the ground ball. 5:05 remaining. Ball possession in the hands of the Blue Wave. Long pass up to Height. And Height to Walsh. Walsh on that far side. Guarded now by Valente. Valente just a freshman. We talk about the new pieces stepping in. A lot of underclassmen getting a lot of valuable minutes for experience for this New Canaan team, as Coach Lindley calls a timeout with her squad up 5-0, 4:39 remaining in this third quarter. But both of these teams, you know, we've talked about it a lot, about their offensive adjustments, the way things have been going. Darien's most recent goal, a beautiful goal. And we'll see if we can get a replay here on the goal.
Yeah, we saw her out there right before the timeout, freshman Ava Caesar out there as well. So talk about building up the bench and building up. Obviously, Darien has a really strong junior class that's going to come up behind these seniors, but building up the freshmen as well has been important for them.
That first one, a goal by Davenport, past the stick of Patterson. You see the second one and the third one by Walsh. Walsh putting it right past Patterson. The second one was Von Kennel. My apologies, but 3 goals for the Blue Wave, find themselves up 5-0, and those 3 goals all in this third quarter. This third quarter has been primarily the Blue Wave. The Blue Wave, a lot of good coaching adjustments at the half have come out strong, and I think also another aspect is just getting comfortable in their new set, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure on all these players coming into a game like this, where both teams are highly ranked. A lot of pressure and the need, the players feeling the need to win this game.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Darien with needing to step up and fill the room, fill the spaces that they had. I mean, Bricorni needing to get the draws when she can, and that pressure of trying to be accurate and get the wins from the draws, and the pressure to keep up the offensive the whole time and try to fill Adams' shoes, which has been something that they've been able to clearly do this whole game. And Walsh has really stepped up. Von Kennel has stepped up, and all these players have stepped up. Davenport, Height, you haven't seen some of these players as much, and this is really their time for them to step up and get a moment to shine.
And that's not even talking about Darien's need to kind of get some revenge on the Rams after losing both the FCAC and state championship last year, a year which they really thought they had the team to win at least one of them. New Canaan, just when it came down to it, played better than the Blue Wave in both the championship games. So there is that pressure, too, from last year. The Blue Wave feeling that they need to beat the Rams. This rivalry, one of the better rivalries in the state, in the Northeast, too, as well. Of course, just separated by 4 miles apart. Most of these girls, too, play on the same club teams in the off-season. So these girls know each other like the back of their hand, like Sadie Stafford and Devin Russell. I know both played on the same club team last year, both in the draw circle, playing against each other, as Darien back looking for the 6th goal. The shot just high of Patterson.
Yeah, and some of these girls will be teammates in college and stuff, so they know each other pretty well, and they're excited to play together. But, I mean, calling this Ram Week, I think it's been every Darien team wants to beat New Canaan, and that's always the end goal.
Rowe pass up to Pinkernell, who finishes, putting the Rams up on the board finally. The pass up, beautiful play in transition by this Rams offense. That's the bread and butter of an offense like this, in transition. Feed up to Pinkernell. Rowe, you see here, splitting her two defenders. Right, great pass up to Pinkernell. The celebration, nothing Bambina can do on that one.
Yeah, and the clean transition from defense to offense and getting it up and ahead of the defenders. Like Darien tries to play it high, as we've talked about, so getting behind them and almost throwing them off with them not knowing you're there, and you're able to have that clear shot on Bambina is really going to lead to more goals like that throughout this game.
4:04 remaining in this third quarter. Rams down 5-1, just able to net the first goal of the game. Ball high up in the air. It was Picorni in the draw circle again, up against Gromelsky.
Yeah, New Canaan's quick on it, bringing it right back down.
Here is Rowe shifting down to X. She had Celebrity, now elects to feed the ball off to Celebrity. Celebrity coming around that far side, pass up to Crowley. Crowley to Patton. Patton surveying, looking for a pass inside, a cutter. Instead passes to Rowe on the outside.
Yeah, and sometimes that first goal sets it all off, so New Canaan's going to work off of that momentum to keep it going.
Crowley up top, guarded by Money Penny. Yes, that is one word, Money Penny, not two. Back up top is Patton, guarded by Money Penny. Money Penny loses a step on Patton. Patton's then checked.
Yeah, Money Penny's had great defense this whole season. She's been a great aspect to it. She is committed to Harvard.
Money Penny, one of the stronger defenders for this Blue Wave team. You know, you look everywhere and it seems that they have commit at each position. Last year in that championship game, 26 commits between the two teams. Patton takes the shot and scores. Sydney Patton able to net her 24th on the season, tying for the team lead. Beautiful 8-meter mark, and she scores.
Yeah, it was so important for them to capitalize off of that free position and to keep that momentum from the first goal going into the second and keep it up.
Patton, the captain for this Ram team, or one of the captains, able to seize an opportunity from the 8-meter mark. We'll see if we can get a replay, and we will. Beautiful job working inside, then goes non-stick side of Bambina, putting it right past Bambina.
Yeah, and using her speed just to get right around and go right in front of all those Darien defenders.
Ball up top. Picorni comes away with it inside the draw circle. Picorni very, very strong. You can tell the consistency of her inside the draw circle for the Blue Wave. See Walsh on the far side. She has the hat trick today. Von Kennel has one. And Davenport has the 5th. But Walsh definitely a factor on the far side. You see the defense, all eyes as the Blue Wave again cycle the ball around the outside. Davenport coming around. Good contact by Civarelli, making it difficult. Kaminsky over to Von Kennel, who feeds it to Walsh. Walsh working, switches from a right to her left, then spin move.
Yeah, they're definitely picking up the pace, Darien, with those 2 goals creeping up on them.
Davenport to Kaminsky. Kaminsky to Von Kennel. Von Kennel guarded by Crowley. Good feed inside. Shot by Kaminsky, and she scores. Kaminsky, the answer the Blue Wave needed. Good ball movement. Great cutter inside from Kaminsky. Kaminsky makes it look easy with that beautiful cut right in front of Patterson. Puts it right by her.
Yeah, beautiful goal. And after missing the West Hill and Wilton game, I know Darien was missing her, to sort of have her back out there and to score is so important.
In the draw circle now, Pinkernell with a bit of height. Another girl who plays hockey for New Canaan up against Picorni. Picorni and Pinkernell squaring off. Darien finding an answer after giving up 2 consecutive goals in a short span of time. Able to add another, making it 6-2-2, 1:19 remaining in this third quarter. Violation will have another draw inside the circle. Corney wins it. Ball ends up right in the stick of Grumelski. Almost like a pass, but Corney wins another.
Yeah, it was great. She's able to get her stick right in front of Pattons and just get right on it.
See, Grumelski has defenders essentially all around her. 3 New Canaan defenders with their sticks up. Got Rowe, Pinkernell, and more.
Yeah, and it looks like Patton was rewarded a yellow card, so she went off.
And that will be a 2-minute penalty on the Rams, so a woman advantage for the Blue Wave. No move into the offensive zone. We'll see if they elect to attack. Davenport down low at X. Davenport moving around, feeds it to Von Kennel. Back over and around. You see quick ball movement. Davenport over to Kaminsky. Walsh looking for some room. She shoots and scores.
Yeah, it was a great passing pattern and ball movement to get the quick passes into the quick pass to Walsh where you weren't sure whether she was going to pass or shoot in a fast shot just to get right behind Patterson.
Walsh, her 4th goal on the day, putting on a show for everyone watching, making it known New Canaan's going to have to figure out a way to stop her if they want to climb back into this game and see the celebration. And that goal, a big goal, and of course that man-up advantage does not go away. Another minute and a half. They will close the quarter with the woman advantage, 42.5 seconds remaining in this third quarter.
Yeah, and even with being up, Darien's definitely going to try to capitalize on it and keep the momentum.
Corney and Rowe squaring off, ball up in the air. Now the chase, ground ball by Picorni. And they're going to say the ball went off the stick of Shu, I believe. It will be Picorni now, again triple teamed, feeding the ball off. Kaminsky, a passing option, instead passes it back to Kennedy. Kennedy fighting through a couple of checks. The ball ends up in the stick of Walsh. Walsh guarded by Rowe. Match up down low. Darien feeding the ball around. And we'll see. That will do it for the third quarter. A high-scoring affair after a first half where we didn't see many goals. Blue Wave up 7-2. They will have a 45-second penalty to start the second half, or to start the fourth quarter, my apologies, and we'll see you back here on NCTV DAF Media for the fourth quarter of action. Of course, DAF Media is a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation, brought to you with support from Terry and Nancy McGraw. We'll see you in a moment here for the fourth quarter action between the New Canaan Rams and the Darien Blue Wave. just a moment, we'll have the fourth quarter of action between the Darien Blue Wave and the New Canaan Rams live on NCTV 78 and DAF Media. DAF Media is a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation, brought to you with support from Terry and Nancy McGraw. And Caitlin, a high-scoring affair in that third quarter for the Darien Blue Wave. 5 goals. Walsh tallied another one. Got support from Von Kennel and Davenport. The Darien offense found its groove in that third quarter.
Yeah, they really did, and they're definitely going to keep that momentum up. And Darien's not a second-half team, but they definitely truly show out in the second half of games, and they prove themselves in Ryan, Manhasset, and even in their game in Wilton, where you come out in the second half strong and keep up that momentum from the first half, and it's going to get you far.
And Darien wins another draw inside the draw circle. Picorni has been dominant. New Canaan looking really for an answer, someone to put in. You've seen Rowe, Patton, Pinkernell all taking attempts, as well as Schlafman, too, as well the freshman. Darien back in the offensive zone. 11:52 just getting started in this fourth quarter, but New Canaan's going to have to figure out a way to mount some offense, even though they're down a player.
Yeah, I mean, New Canaan was able to capitalize on those two opportunities, of one off of a free position and one off of just finding that empty space that Darien does leave. So Darien's going to have to pressure up and not be too aggressive to give them the open space opportunities and free positions.
Darien actually with the 2-woman advantage right now with an opportunity. 25 seconds left with 2 men up, and then another man up for over a minute. So a lot of time on defense as Von Kennel works her way inside. Met with a couple of checks, elects to pull it out, feed it to Picorni. Picorni over to Walsh. Walsh far side to Kaminsky, back down low to X. Picorni working her way around the crease, feeds it to Walsh. You see Walsh looking for any type of shooting space.
Yeah, great ball movement from Darien, moving it all the way around and finding that space and having the fast passes, but also slowing it down for slower ones.
And then they're rewarded an 8-meter mark for Kaminsky from the top of the key.
Yeah, and she's got a strong shot, so if you give her that space, she's able to capitalize on it a lot of times.
Strong shot wide left of Patterson, and no need to try to work her way inside with that shot. You called it, Caitlin, a strong shot just wide left of Patterson.
Yeah, a lot of girls on this team, or on both teams, but especially in Darien, they've had those really strong shots, and when you give them that space, they're going to try to shoot it as hard as they can.
Patterson looking for a pass, finds a teammate. You see New Canaan, important to get the ball out on the clear and then hold. Just 15 seconds remaining on the penalty. Penalty on Patton. It was Gillum, the senior, who retains possession on that far side, working across the midfield. Pass to Crowley, who fumbles. The ball is on the turf. Crowley with the good ground ball pickup. Crowley far side, looking for something. And now Patton is allowed to re-enter, I believe. On the clock, back down low at X. Crowley and Celebrity, the tag team. Celebrity now met with aggressive defense from Brown. So New Canaan looking for a few cutters. You have to get some motion. This Darien defense just so strong, and on cue makes the good strong bat down, good ground ball pickup. And they're going to say Brown stepped out of bounds with possession. So Celebrity picks up the ball, Rams in the offensive zone. Patton to Cecilia. Cecilia over to Moore. Moore with that left hand cradling. And feeds it back to Cecilia, who's doubled high, top of the key. Over to Patton. Patton switches right to left.
Yeah, you've got Moneypenny and Kennedy both up high and ready to defend as the passes get passed.
See Rowe cradling inside, looking for a shot. Not enough shooting space. So feeds it to Pat and the senior duo. Pass inside to Pinkernell, who takes the shot. Good save by Bambina on the side. Kept in by Moore.
Yeah, and a close one on that rebound. It looked like it was right in front of Bambina's feet almost.
Moore tries to get the pass to Cecilia, but it's picked off. Great defense by the Blue Wave. See, that was
great position from Glendale.
By Glenday. Sophie Haas, the captain, committed to Tufts. Dumps it over to Glenday, who started the entire defensive play with the good interception. Now Von Kennel in the offensive zone for the Blue Wave. Blue Wave up 7-2, 7:30 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Haas, another important member from that hockey team that faced New Canaan earlier on in that season.
Darien in the offensive zone. Was Davenport back down low to X. Feeding the ball around. You see Patterson moving from side to side. Two side defenders preventing rolls around the crease. Von Kennel at X, very patient. No need for Darien to rush. Of course, New Canaan down by 5, and really the only way New Canaan can get back into this game is if they have possession of the ball with a couple of checks, interceptions, defensive plays. So Darien definitely going to move to more conservative offensive approach.
Yeah, definitely a slower pace, even slower almost than what they've been doing during this game, and keeping it when they can and connecting on those passes. So important to not give them the turnover and have them have that clear transition from offense to defense that we saw that led to the second goal.
New Canaan transitions on cue from defense to offense. Now Rowe in the offensive zone dumps it to Cecilia. And Moore checking inside, fighting for possession. And Darien comes away with it. A good defensive play on the far side of the field by Eleni, the Colgate commit. And now ball in the hands of Von Kennel. Walsh up top, feeds it to Hapgood. Hapgood has been stopped a few times by Patterson on a few shots, but hasn't taken a shot in this second half.
Yeah, and Hapgood is one of the top players for Darien's offense, and she's got great ball movement, and she's a great ability to be able to pass it and find those interceptions and find those moments where Darien's able to have those one-on-one with the goalie. And talked about her earlier with her great sense of field space and being able to find it where she needs to be on the field to help her team succeed.
Saw Von Kennel just stand there for a moment before she was pressured by Civarelli, and still again just standing down far side and in the New Canaan end zone as she rolls around right, but feeds it back up top and gets the ball right back. Von Kennel very patient. 4:50 remaining. New Canaan down by 5. Seems as if anytime New Canaan able to force a turnover, get in the offensive zone, Darien comes right back, counters with the turnover of their own as the shot by Von Kennel on the roll far right.
Yeah, definitely. And Von Kennel was having that slower ball movement. She was even walking with the ball right behind that net, trying to make Patterson wait and question where, for the New Canaan defense to question where she was going to go, and then she kicked on the speed to bring it right up in front.
See ball being worked around, finds the stick of Walsh. What a game Walsh has had. 4 goals on the day. She loses possession. Darien awarded with the free position. Caesar to Von Kennel. Von Kennel in deep, guarded by Civarelli. Civarelli rolls above the crease. And Von Kennel still retains possession, feeds it to Caesar. Caesar inside, she takes the shot and scores.
Yeah, one of the 3 freshmen that we have on the team, and Caesar has definitely proven herself in goals like that and shown up when the team needs her.
Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar has an older brother playing at Georgetown right now on the lacrosse team, and definitely has some lacrosse running in her family as well.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a replay. Caesar doing a good job rolling around the crease. Puts the ball right past Patterson in close, and most of Darien's goals today have come from about 5-10 feet, just right up in Patterson's wheelhouse. We've seen it multiple times today, just working the ball around, looking for a cutter inside. Then New Canaan's defense laxes a little bit and relaxes, and then Darien able to convert strike like a python.
Yeah, they've definitely been able to get under New Canaan's skin and to get under Patterson and to find that open space. And some of the goals today haven't even came from like their top scorers of the game. We've seen a lot of different people score the goals besides Walsh with 4 in this game. You've had other members of the team like Caesar and Davenport and Von Kennel coming in and making their mark as well.
And that's one thing about both of these teams. They do have a bunch of depth. Of course, Darien probably has more depth with that graduating class of New Canaan last year. But even like losing a girl like Adams for Darien, other girls have to step up, and they do have pieces that will step up. 18 commits, including Adams, but 17 other girls coming to play at the next level, and goes beyond even college commitments. You mentioned freshmen, sophomores who've gotten involved in the offense here today.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got all 4 defenders out there committed to college, and you've got a big depth, like you were just saying, of this team. And the junior class especially has so many commits and so many key parts of it that have really helped out Darien. So it'll keep bringing into the season next year for them.
Corney switches left to right, dumps it to Walsh, back down low at X to Von Kennel. Von Kennel has really played that primary facilitator, that primary point guard in the second half, just staying down below the crease line. Really patient, knows high lacrosse IQ as well. Back down low on the drive is Hapgood. Hapgood comes across, she scores! Hapgood, 8-2. Blue Wave on top, 9-2, my apologies. Hapgood puts it right past Patterson, the celebration. And the Blue Wave, that bench loving it, the fans loving it. And the Blue Wave on top by 7.
Yeah, and Hapgood's such an important part to this team, being one of the captains. Not only that, just being one of the most important key parts of both on the passes, both on the interceptions, on the turnovers, on every aspect of the field when she can. She has a great sense of the field, as we've talked about, and her being able to capitalize and score that goal is so important for them.
1:56 on the clock right now. Blue Wave on top, 9-2. The Blue Wave offense exploding in this second half, Caitlin. It's been all Blue Wave. It hasn't just come from one goal scorer. It's been multiple girls, and Picorni wins another inside the draw circle. She's had a good day here on Dunning Field.
Yeah, I mean, so many of the, like you were just saying, so many different players from Darien has come out and really shown out and helped their team get the win. It hasn't just been the top players for this team, or it hasn't been the players that you normally would see win in these games. There've been so many different depths of the team.
Von Kennel down low, guarded by Shu. Von Kennel rolling around, pass inside to Hapgood. Hapgood still looking for a goal, and both these teams very aggressive, because in terms of rankings, point differential, goal differential is included in the rankings, which is why, sometimes you'll see teams score more and more and look for more goals, because it means better seeding, better ranking too as well. Patterson makes the save on Hapgood. Now under a minute remaining, 9-2, Blue Wave on top, New Canaan on the clear.
Yeah, not just with the seedings. I mean, you talked about it earlier, the revenge aspect of it. Darien's not going to let it go, and they're going to continue to keep up and try to score as much as they can just to almost get back at them from the last season.
So, taking a look ahead at both teams' upcoming schedule, New Canaan, after this game, move on. They play St. Anthony's at home. The save inside by Bambina, but New Canaan plays St. Anthony's at home on Saturday, then Wilton away next Tuesday. Or my apologies, Wilton at home. So a nice little homestead, a 5-game homestand for this New Canaan Rams team. As for the Blue Wave, they go play at home against Summit on Saturday.
Great save from Bambina.
Big save by Bambina, and they play Tuesday against Sacred Heart Greenwich. It's going to be a big one. See the celebration from the Blue Wave. The Blue Wave take down the New Canaan Rams. Final score is 9-2 here at Dunning Field. The Blue Wave dominant second half offensive performance, and the celebration ensues. The Rams fall to the Blue Wave 9-2 here at Dunning Field. An offensive performance that they're definitely going to look back on the tape and try to find what they did well in this second half. And we'll take a look at that final save from Bambina. Although Bambina didn't make tons of saves when she was asked to make a big save, she did make the save, stepping up time and time again. The senior, big save on Moore to close it, and a lot of momentum.
Yeah, it was a great last-minute opportunity for New Canaan, and it was almost perfect positioning to get right behind Bambina, but she was able to step aside and get it.
Yeah, and you can take that momentum right from that big save, and the entire team can take the momentum from a big win against New Canaan and then move on and kind of close out the season strong. Of course, now the Blue Wave sitting at 10-1 on the year. Things have gone their way. They do lose Adams, but that cannot overshadow a win like this. They've done their stuff, and we'll take a look here at the final, some of the highlights. But before we do that, I want to thank the entire NCTV crew, Maddie Almernisi producing, and everyone who was involved in the production, our camera operators, Caitlin beside me, Damon Andrews, the DAF media advisor, Roman Cebulski, the NCTV advisor. Just take a look at some of these goals inside. That was Davenport on that most recent goal. Then Von Kennel up top, the sidearm shot right past Patterson. See Walsh, I believe this was her 4th goal on the day. And a good play in transition by New Canaan for their first goal. And here is the second goal, their second and final goal from Patton. Patton putting it non-stick side of Bambina, and then the Blue Wave get right back to the offensive side. That was Kaminsky. You see here over Walsh once again, right past Patterson. What a day Walsh had. Walsh 4 goals on the day, and moving forward, you're going to look to see a lot of Katie Walsh for the Blue Wave offense.
Yeah, definitely. She had a great game today, and she was able to find all the space when she needed it and find the right passes, and she has that strong shot that she's able to get right past Patterson.
And the final save by Bambina. And that will do it here live on DAF Media and NCTV 78. Thank you for joining us. It's the New Canaan Rams and the Darien Blue Wave. The Blue Wave come out on top 9-2. Big win for the Blue Wave moving forward. Of course, they play Saturday. Then Sacred Heart Greenwich is a big matchup. A big win for the Blue Wave. Unfortunately for the Rams, they fall, but they'll have an opportunity to redeem themselves on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. It was a huge game for Darien, both coming into it and coming out of it. They played their hearts out in that game, and kind of shows Darien doesn't forget those past scores and those past games. And you mentioned it earlier, coming from that last time that they met last season, definitely wanted their revenge from it.
Yeah, and that will do it here live on DAF and NCTV. Thank you for joining us. If you want more lacrosse, stay on air. It'll be New Canaan and Iona Prep on the boys' side. We'll send it over to our sponsors.
This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Quest Builders Group, a general contracting, construction management, and consulting company who proudly supports all of our high school athletes. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Dr. William Fessler of Fessler Family Dentistry, the dental office for your entire family's dental needs. At William Fessler Family Dentistry, smile. You're in good hands. We thank Platinum sponsor Frangione Engineering. Planning on putting in a pool or an addition onto your house? Are you having drainage issues on your property? Frangione Engineering can help you find a solution. Platinum sponsors and NCHS alumni Leo and Steve Carl of Carl Chevrolet, who have been proud supporters of local athletic programs for generations. Their dealership has been serving Fairfield County since 1927. Their team is ready to assist with all of your automotive needs. We thank Platinum sponsor Manfredi Jewels. Manfredi Jewels, your local official Rolex jeweler, is excited to continue carrying the finest jewelry and watch brands and welcome the New Canaan community into their newly renovated store this fall. Go Rams! Platinum sponsor Renaissance Partners, a family-owned and New Canaan-based residential building and remodeling company serving all of Fairfield County. We thank Platinum sponsor Walter Stewart's. Walter Stewart's Market has supported NC Rams athletics and the entire New Canaan community for years. Walter Stewart's is your fresh local market. We also thank our Platinum sponsor Hoyt Livery for 30 plus years of service. We would like to thank our Gold sponsor Anderson Kenny Architecture, a full service practice that encompasses a range of commissioned residential and commercial projects. Each project is a thoughtful collaboration tailored for clients and their needs. The outcome is highly personal, constructed with intention and integrity. We thank another Gold sponsor, Club Sandwich, a family-owned deli right here in town serving the New Canaan community since 1986. They are a proud sponsor of the New Canaan community and all of our sports teams. And we thank NC Graphics LLC, a Gold sponsor who is a constant supporter of the NCHS Booster Club. They are a custom graphics company located right here in New Canaan for all of your logo designing needs. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. Go Rams!